Hi everyone, Emma Jane here. I am coming at you from North Texas, which is not where I live. It's where my husband's family lives, and we come every summer for a couple of weeks. So I'm doing a little bit of recording while I'm here. We are going to the Dallas Aquarium today, hence my octopus shirt. I do love octopus. They are so smart. Okay, so it's time for part 2 of the New England Quilt Museum video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you their StitchPunk exhibit, which to say it is unique would be an understatement. It was really badass. Okay, so the mannequin thing was absolutely awesome. Sir Isaac Newton was super cool. And then all of the quilts that were made StitchPunk like were so awesome too. So what I'm going to do is kind of take you through the gallery, and I'm going to read you some of the the wording, the descriptions of the quilts and who made them as we go along, because it was so exciting. So buckle up. We're getting ready to see some really innovative quilts and designs. Let's do it. Here we go. This is Libby Williamson from Villa Park, California. It's called Road Trip 2023. It says, a flock of misfit birds forced from their homes band together and venture out in search of a new land. Assorted gadgets and machines are cobbled together to form their convoy. A jerry-rigged sewing machine propels the caravan forward, guided by the navigator, scout, and gallant leader. So funny. Let's see. A nest secured in the center of the train safeguards eggs, hatchlings, and an adolescent rascal with a penchant for mischief. Just as the flock is formed, orphans and outcasts, the tree is a botanical wonder, combining species from dozens of trees. And bringing up the rear, an elder with a sharp eye straddles a travel iron, keeping watch for the lone birds to join the tribe. It's fabric, vintage components, sewing machine, iron, wooden spools, cookie cutter, rulers, zippers, sewing notions, wooden hardware, wire, basket, clay, plaster, foam, paint, glue, electric fan, and a partridge in a pear tree. I'm just kidding, I made that up. Juror Shirley Sloboda says, this question is at the heart of StitchPunk. What if you blend futuristic technology with the steam-powered industrialism of the Victorian era? Biopunk asks, what if we lived in a retro-futuristic world that blends the atomic age with mid-century modern aesthetics? Anything humans can imagine can be punked, and central to it all is science fiction. The artists in StitchPunk have interpreted punk to tell their own distinctive stories using fabrics as their medium. Texture, stitching, stuffing, and more add depth that cannot be conveyed through two-dimensional paintings or photographs. Each piece reveals a different what-if question, transporting viewers to alternate dimensions or strange universes where history turned out differently. The dedication, skill, and unique perspectives of each of these creators form a rich tapestry of human expression. I am deeply impressed with the creativity and talent of the artists whose works show the extraordinary power of stitch to convey beauty, meaning, and a deep sense of humanity. Through this exhibition, they share their artistry, stories, and passion with the world. StitchPunk stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of sewing and the boundless possibilities it holds for artistic expression and social commentary. And that is Shirley Sloboda. In 2003. I think her name is Cheryl Sloboda, but I think it's misspelled on this statement. I could be wrong. This is Shannon Conley from Oklahoma. It's always sunny in the future, she calls this. Not all technology-filled futures are dystopian. Here I embrace solar punk in an optimistic vision of the future where we use technology to generate clean power from the sun, conquer pollution, and save the planet. The neon-colored 80s kid inside me has a hope for the reforested future of humans happily living among the trees, in harmony with nature ecosystems and flourishing as part of the great biodiversity of Earth rather than at its expense. This one is for sale if you're interested. She made it from recycled plastic containers, paint fabric, painted, machine quilted, and hand stitched. Very bright and sunny. The gentleman in the picture represents William Morris, proponent of arts and crafts movement. And the artwork at the bottom left is derived from one of Mr. Morris's wallpaper designs. The theme is ever-growing conflict between the purposeful and slow work of the hand and the mass production and industrialization of the 19th and 20th centuries. Cotton, metal, and embellishments, hand-stitched, embroidered, and quilted, embellished by Linda Mackey Finley of Nova Scotia, Canada. The habituation of Mr. Morris in 2012, she calls. Here is Minerva, StitchPunk Warrior, made in 2023 by Kate Crossley in the United Kingdom, in Ashfield. It says, mannequin clock, handmade, foam armor, handmade jewelry, paper mask, altered cotton corset, calico fabric, recycled linen, tubing, buckles, rivets, grommets, vintage sewing tools, found objects, paint, wax, walnut, ink. Interesting. Hand and machine embroidered and quilted, hand dyed and painted. Isn't this innovative? Steampunk meets StitchPunk. Meet the Greek goddess Minerva. She was the daughter of Metis and Jupiter, born when Vulcan used a hammer to split Jupiter's head. From the cleft, Minerva emerged whole, adult, and in full battle armor. Minerva is the goddess of crafts and textiles. This is an homage to my mother, she says, and grandmother, who were both always ready with a needle or sewing machine for a last-minute dress emergency, trouser turn-ups, or even a torn, wet horse rug on Christmas morning, mended at the dining table with a pair of old denim jeans. Nothing could ever faze these warrior stitch women. I hope that in some way I live up to that warrior spirit. And this is for sale. I imagine that it is worth a pretty penny, as it should be. I love this Garden of Gears by Paula Enton of Fairview, North Carolina. Wooden resin gears, glass beads, leather, wool rug strips, cotton. My quilt celebrates the makers in steampunk. Steampunk often portrays the area as gritty, dark, and filthy, but also with makers that are expert at creating and repairing. Imagine a garden that grows all the parts one needs, continuously supplying gears to replace those that wear down over time. Instead of the usual depictions of sooty industrial neighborhoods, imagine colorful gardens at each house, producing parts that would allow one to invent new things or extend the lifetime of the most useful objects. Now that's interesting. Sue Sherman from Ontario, Canada, rocket hopper, she calls this. During a visit to the Falkland Islands, we saw the intrepid rocket hopper penguins hopping all the way up the cliff from the sea to their nests. A playful voice in my head thought the job might be a little easier with a jet pack. The flying penguin thinks it's a treat, but one penguin down there is clearly disapproved. This is a showstopper right here. This is Sir Isaac Singer. I said it wrong earlier. This is by Bruce Rosenbaum, who makes quirky things like this, and it's called a Humachine. It says they have crossed the threshold that separates time from space and stepped boldly into our time and city. Seemingly out of his element, this prolific inventor is perhaps the oddest bunch to descend from the recent tear in the time-space fabric. What sort of help does the time stitcher bring? Strapped to his incredible flying contraption, he soars through the air. The clanking of sewing needles seem to stitch the very air around him. The turning of wheels, the spinning of bobbins could easily be mistaken for a terrific tailor, but he is working on an entirely different sort of material and weave. So this was so cool. I didn't even realize that it actually moved until, mind you, remember there was no air conditioning in this place. And so I had gone downstairs, I was all done, and then my mom said, "Did you know the thing moved?" I said, "What?" So I went back up there and had the docent show me, and she was so kind. Isn't it cool? So it was extremely loud, I will say that. It was a very loud work of art, but it was really cool. I love underwater scenes, so this was so fun. Trish Morris Plies of Nevada City, California. This is Phineas. She says, seahorses are very interesting creatures. The male seahorse carries and delivers the baby seahorses. Incorporating that fact into my piece, I created a transparent belly that allows for a first-hand view of the babies. With a bunch of inspiration from Jules Verne, the gears and mechanical aspects of the Seahorse Phineas were a lot of fun to imagine and then translate into this piece. She uses cotton tool, typewriter keys, hair clips, metallic fabric, and vinyl buttons, like beads and leather. It's raw edge applique and hand painted. Really innovative. Okay, these two were really futuristic looking. The one on the left, I didn't get a good photo of the description of it. It's made from someone in Martinsburg, West Virginia. But you can see it's like a gas pump. It's really neat. The next one is called Atomic Trailer Punk from Mel DeGauche in Hondo, Texas. It says atomic punk aesthetic can trace its origins to the atomic laboratory in Los Alamos, New Mexico, in the 1940s, from the bomb created by nuclear scientists of the Manhattan Project. Atomic punk art is notable for using cheerful retro colors and an animated graphics style. It depicts imagery associated with cherished traditional suburban values tarnished by flippant, sarcastic undertones of anticipated nuclear holocaust. I really hope you enjoyed seeing all about the StitchPunk at New England Quilt Museum. And they have all kinds of different exhibits, all different times of the year, just like any other museum. But highly recommend going if you haven't been able to go yet. If you love traveling for quilt things, this is one to put on your list. The town, Lowell itself, as well as the Quilt Museum, the cotton mills, it's all really fun. If you liked this video, if you like seeing my quilt tours, be sure to like and subscribe. Give a comment if you've been there, if you haven't been there, what you think of the place. I would love to see that. I try to respond to all comments. I'll see you next time.